You sell your home during the winter time, meaning that the January, basically, February and March, you always get about 1.2% higher than any other time of the year. So my best bet, my recommendations are always for sellers, if you're thinking about selling your home, is between the second week of January all the way to the second week of maybe the third week of March at the latest. Welcome to Love, Listings, and Legacy, where love, community, and building a lasting impact meet. We are Mony and Sophaline, a husband and wife real estate team, sharing our perspectives on life, real estate, and philanthropy, our stories about resilience and service. Join us each week as we share our journey of life, business, and giving back, all while building a legacy for our family and community. This is Love, Listings, and Legacy, where hearts, homes, and philanthropy come together. Let's get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Love, Listings, and Legacy with
Mony
and Sophaline Mao. And for this episode, we are going to do a little bit of a holiday theme. We thought maybe because it's the month of December and everyone's planning their holiday get-togethers and things like that. So, first of all, to all of our family and friends and listeners, Mony and I, we want to wish you all a happy holiday season, a healthy, peaceful, joyous time of year as we reflect on this past year, 2024, and we look forward to transitioning to a new year in 2025. Honey, any greetings for our family and friends?
We're so grateful for your love and your support and your friendship. It means the world to us. Every time we get to see you out and about in the community, you come up and say hello, give it the big hugs, and just your sincerity with us when you see us and we get to see you. It means the world to us, and we just really, really appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing you, whether it's this time of the year or another time of the year, just to be able to run into you into town and catch up with you here and there. It's a privilege and an honor for us.
Yeah, so I really love being able to see everyone too. And sometimes for our family and friends who we don't get to see all the time, it's nice to see them on social media as well.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So on that note, I'm just got a couple of questions I guess we should be thinking about. What's share any holiday stories or personal reflection tied to the idea of any homes and family or anything like that what comes to your mind?
Oh, I think when I think of the holidays, I think of it's a time for togetherness, a time to pause and really just slow down and enjoy each other's company. I also think that on the business side, obviously the market kind of starts to, slow down a little bit, but for me, when I think of the idea of home for the holidays, I think of just being home with you and all the kids and our family. It's just, I don't know. It's just finding some time to relax together.
This time of the year, I think about where I came from. Like I mentioned before, that I grew up in a broken family. We didn't have the family. So now that we do, it's nice to be home. It's nice to be with you. It's nice to be with our friends and families. And it's been cool. I think of a few things though. I think of us getting together, celebrating the holidays, and like for example, this particular Saturday is a special day for us at the house. Our youngest son is got engaged, and we're gonna host a engagement party for them at the home. I think that's really cool. Even though it's gonna rain like heck of all the days that we haven't had any rain, it's gonna rain this Saturday, but it's okay. It's a celebration.
It is.
And then a couple other things that came to mind is I thought about one of the thoughts that came through my mind was my first home. I was 25 years old. I was a police officer at the time I bought my first home. I remember it was a bank-owned property that had, the front yard had, talking about curb appeal, had 6 feet of weeds, and there was broken concrete. There was holes in the walls. Fans were taken out.
Oh my!
I mean, it was a hideous home.
Wow.
But it was in the quarterbacks of the school. I said, when I saw it, I just realized it's like meeting your love, right? Meeting, like just us meeting. And just saying, oh my gosh, I gotta have this home. I told my realtors that I gotta have that, and so that became my first home, the beginning of the stability for my life and for the boys. And the other beginning was another thought that came to me was the first time I became a Livermore police officer in 1995. And 1996, literally that first year in Livermore, I met the Cavalieri's family. They're the first one that took me in, the Cavalieri jewelry family. They're the first one that took me in.
Yeah.
And I had my first Christmas dinner at their home, so I'll never forget that. And that, they're not so much the experience in being with them, but it's just their kindness and hospitality and someone that I didn't know that took me in. And, as a single person per se, without any family here, and they took me in and had a dinner at their home. That was really, really special.
Those are some great memories.
That's 29 years ago, so I still remember that today.
Wow.
So, pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think thank you for sharing, just those warm holiday reflections and memories. And I always feel like you always have a chance to make more memories, and it's just all about kind of how we create, the holidays is what you make of it, and that's how I've seen it. And I've had the experience of spending the holidays growing up as a family, although we didn't have a lot of toys and we didn't have a lot of material things. But I think my mom and dad, even it was just like a little $5 gift or a little something, I think my mom tried to like wrap it up. And usually, as kids, you appreciate it, right? It wasn't always a big Christmas tree, but maybe it was a little mini one. And but they did what they could. But one of the things I was going to say as I became an adult and appreciated was that, the holidays is what you make it. And I've actually had the experience of spending the holidays like not at home because I was living abroad, and I had lived away from home for, ever since I was like 19, 20 years old. And so I always think back to like home is where you want to make the holidays, right? And so I've experienced like celebrating the holidays in Southeast Asia, and sometimes I was on a work trip, sometimes I was with friends, and I wasn't always home for the holidays. So
no, it's tough, and for a lot of people too. They don't always have family, or families don't always get together. The families don't always get along. So I found myself, and many times actually, just want to volunteer my time because that's the way to get the happiness to come in, but also to fill the void of not having a regular, normal, whatever that is, regular, whatever that is, family, right? So, but anyhow, but it's a perfect opportunity to really think and reflect about what homes mean to you, and also how to give back to the community as well. So this is the time to do it. So,
yeah, for sure. When we look towards the new year, I know the holidays is also a time to do a reflection on 2024. I know for myself personally, being able to use the end of the year to plan my 2025. And that's something that I am very excited to do. I actually get very excited about it, where I journal my goals for 2025, my intentions. Some people create vision boards, but I think it's also really important that everybody does that, right? As we're closing out 2024. And so maybe you could share what's Mony's recap of 2024, and what were some highlights or some things that really stood out for you in 2024?
Personally and professionally?
Anything.
Gosh. God, I mean, overall, just grateful for the real estate, the opportunity to serve people and friends in the real estate community. I think I'm very, very grateful for that.
Yeah.
That it's a better year than 2023. It's a little bit better, but I think it's going to get better as well in the real estate market. But many accomplishment. I think one of the biggest thing that I could think of this year was making a decision to go back to Rotary.
Oh, that's right.
I spent 10 years on Rotary. I served on the foundation board. I served on many, many committees, and I spent 10 years of my life in that when I was a police officer. Then I took 10 years off, and then now I just went back, and it's been amazing, actually. So I met so many incredible people already. I've been involved in so many projects that they're doing. In fact, I just got elected as their 2026 president for my Rotary Club. It's an honor, actually, because it's another opportunity to show some leadership, and also an opportunity to serve alongside with so many great Rotarians and many community members here who just loves to give on a local level and on an international level. So, and I can't wait to lead on the international level, which I'm in charge of right now, and I can't wait to do even more on an international level through our Rotary Club. So that's the biggest highlight, and I think the next biggest highlight would be proud to be a father of a young man who's 27 years old, who just got engaged to his longtime high school sweethearts. They've known each other since ninth grade, and now they're going to get married next year. We're celebrating them this Saturday.
2026.
Yeah, but this Saturday is going to be just the engagement party with families, with just close families, and I think that that's a big undertaking, and to see these the boys being raised from the young and having full custody of them since they're 6 and 7 years old. Not to see them get married, like one of them is getting married. It's like, wow, that's crazy. So those are the two big highlights in my life this year.
That's so cool. Well, I think, 2024, I think going back to what you said, I think as a parent, usually when your children become adult children, you tend to kind of allow them the space to grow and find themselves and follow their own journey. But I think definitely very excited for Ryan and Sabrina, and I'm excited to welcome a daughter into the family because I feel so outnumbered.
Yeah. So, any personal reflections to you? What anything that comes to mind?
Well, I think similarly to yours, because we are a family. I think definitely Ryan and Sabrina's engagement was a highlight for me. I think stepping into my role as a stepmother, or I don't know, that term just sounds so weird to me. Because essentially, Andrew and Ryan, they're adults. They're adult men. I didn't really have a part in raising them, so I can't really say I'm their stepmother. But because I'm married to you, their dad, I guess that essentially makes.
And again,
me,
she's married to Mony, not money.
Yes, but anyway, I think I think for me, I've stepped into a more comfort. I guess stepped into more comfort and confidence, I think, in being that role, and then being another figure for Andrew and Ryan, and now Sabrina, just being another adult figure in their life that they can come to. So I think 2024, that was something that I'm very proud of, very honored, and
first of all,
love it.
We're very proud that you're in that role, and proud to have you in a part of our family. So thank you for being the rock for us as well. But speaking of stepping in, you're also leaning in and stepping in into. This is your second year in real estate, and I know that it's not always. It's sometimes 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But I'm noticing a little bit more leaning in. So I think that you're doing different things, from joining the Women Councils of Realtors of Alameda. I think that's great. And then you join. One of the greatest things I think that you're doing this year for yourself and for all of us is to see what the community is all about, to step into taking Livermore Leadership Program, the 9-month program that's hosted by the Livermore Chamber of Commerce, and you're doing that. I think that's really, really good. So tell us a little bit about those experiences as well.
Well, I mean, as what you already kind of alluded to, you already mentioned them, but I think the first thing I think I probably want to mention is that, I always, and this is maybe just going back, for those who have just joined us on this episode, I'm new to the real estate industry because I actually found myself doing it to support you, honey. I mean, I think if I wasn't married to you, would I have chosen real estate as a career path? I have to be real and say probably not. But because of you, I feel like this is a challenge for me to step it up a little bit more, not only be your life partner in having our marriage and our family, but also the business side. And so for me, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity for me to just, let's see how it goes, right? I've always said yes to different opportunities, even though I might not be 2 feet in, but I always dip my foot in to kind of see what it's like. So now that I'm here, I do feel a lot more seasoned. Obviously, I'm licensed. And so by the authority of the state of California, I'm licensed to practice real estate as a professional. But I think stepping into it more was something that I wanted to make sure that I was doing it for me and not because I was trying to do it to please you. I don't know if that makes sense, but many times, as women, we choose careers or kind of fall into careers based on, sometimes it's chosen, sometimes it's based on our background of study, sometimes it's a family business we take over, sometimes you just kind of find your way. But I would have to say that for real estate, it was definitely through you, and I appreciate you and thank you for opening up the doors and really, wanting me to excel and succeed. This year, I decided to take it a step further, and so I've joined the Women's Council of Realtors of Alameda County on the board of directors, and so I currently am the events director for the coming year. And so for 2025, I will be helping to take charge on industry events as well as member events that are going to drive value, such as education, professional development, and just camaraderie for women in real estate. And of course, we have many great allies and our men as well who join. But I'm really excited about that. And then you mentioned earlier about Leadership Livermore. That's a 9-month leadership program through the Livermore Valley Chamber of Commerce that allows us as a cohort to basically just experience all that is Livermore. And so we've gotten through 2 sessions. So I had my first orientation, and then I should say, and the second one was all about local government. So we got to go to the Livermore City Council, meet with the mayor. We also got to do a mock city council meeting, which I played an upset citizen. I don't know if I told you that.
No, I didn't.
But we did a mock city council meeting.
Okay.
And we all took turns in being somebody. And I thought it'd be funny to play the role of an upset citizen because, but
that
everyone
was hard to
needs,
do, I'm sure.
Well, I also did drama club in high school.
Oh.
But anyway, back to Leadership Livermore, it's allowed me to build camaraderie with other Livermore residents and business owners. And we've actually become like friends now where we get to know each other. And then
and that's what Livermore is all about. Livermore is it's a community. It really is a deep, deep community. I remember when I first became a police officer, and I'm like, wait, you relate to that person? That's your aunt? That's your uncle?
It's a small community.
Very small.
Yes.
And it goes back to 3, 4, 5, 6 generations.
Yeah, which
of
is
Livermore
great.
People, which is good.
Yeah,
so, but not so good if you mess up. So everybody will know.
Also, I think for me, I really wanted to join Leadership Livermore because I am new to the community and I shouldn't be shy about that. And I think being proactive and taking initiative and investing, it is you pay to join Leadership Livermore. It's an investment in itself, right?
Yeah,
but I'm hoping that after the 9 months that I will come out knowing and appreciating what Livermore and the business community and the nonprofit community and just the industries here. I'm really excited about that.
Well, first of all, as a graduate of 2014 myself from Livermore Leadership and 2015 from Pleasant Leadership Program, I did both, the 2 years program, and very proud of you for doing that. I just think it's stepping out. We could always, we only know what we know. We don't know what we don't know until you step out and do these things. Where I was a police officer for so many years, I thought I knew the city pretty well, but actually it turns out I didn't know about the business community. I didn't know how the school was run, and in a way of more of a nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts of it. So that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, so. I think it's like a backstage pass. That's I think what it's been described as. But that's pretty much like 2024. Good. I mean, our calendars are jam-packed. I mean, you and I both still serve on nonprofit boards. We both serve together on the Caring for Cambodia board, and then I'm also on the Tri-Valley Haven board, and then you're with Rotary. Livermore Rotary. Yep. So I think we are just, we're just super busy.
Okay, well, let's shift gear a little bit towards the real estate side. So any key highlights and trends in 2024 that you comes to mind that you want to share with us?
Well, I think just key trends, what I've noticed is that just how real estate is emerging in terms of just like AI, for example. I think I'll just mention that because I think it's a perfect blend of like my background in tech and also like real estate. I feel like I found myself using AI just in our business so much more than I did in 2023. I feel like it's been a game changer. I feel like at first everyone is terrified of this AI thing, but actually if you embrace it and you learn it and you find the little ways in how you could use AI, I think for me, that really made my job on the operation side, supporting you. I think that helped me so much. And then also just kind of understanding the market and the dips and the changes in seasonality, but also just with how, we were in a presidential election year. Obviously, the interest rates were like a huge factor in that. So those are some of the things that I think stood out for me in 2024. What about you?
Okay, well, there's two things that I saw that was consistent that I think it should be worthy to mention. One is the consistent low inventory in the Tri-Valley. For example, the normal market for Livermore is about 180 homes.
Wow.
But this year, for example, we've only reached like 130, 136 total, and then the numbers kept coming back down. It's come down so low, as a matter of fact, right now, as of this morning, we're down to 41 detached homes for sale in the city of Livermore. And then all the Tri-Valley has about 20, 30 homes as well, including, when I talk about Tri-Valley, I'm referring to Livermore, Pleasanton, and Dublin. Okay, it's the three cities. Mm-hmm. But on my condos and townhouses, we only have 19 homes for sale in all three cities, which is crazy low. Mm-hmm. So that's one consistent I see. The other one that is persistent is the interest rate. This year, we went from we started about 6.5 to 7, and it went to 7.25, and it dropped down a little bit to about 6, and then it went back to about 7.25 right now. So it's starting to come down a little bit, but they've just been very, very consistently, I guess, in some people's mind, high at 6.75 and 7% interest rate.
Yeah.
But then again, if you go back to the 80s and 90s, the interest rates have always been a lot higher, 13, 14, 19%. But to today's world, 6 to 7%, it could consider be high. But those are the two consistent I see, was the low inventory and the high, per se, interest rate. So those are the two things. What about you? Is there anything that you could think of like any lessons learned from this past year?
Lessons learned.
Yeah.
I think just, again, as someone who's a little bit newer to the game, I think definitely in 2025, looking at lessons learned in 2024, I would have to say probably just the operations and just the well-oiled machine. And it's very easy to get off track when you allow distractions and other things to kind of throw you off track. The main thing is when you feel like you're being thrown off track is to just get back on it and just continue and not beat yourself up and not get into like the blame game of like, oh, who dropped the ball? Oh, it was me. It was so-and-so. It was, I think for me, my experience always being on a project team is that it's a team effort, right? So if one person is falling behind, instead of like, blaming or shaming them, for me, I learned that you should be like, okay, what can I do to help you? Like, a race together, right? If someone's falling behind, maybe they're injured, maybe they're hurt, maybe they didn't eat earlier, So for me, I think that's a lesson learned, is always keeping your eye on the prize and looking at how can you get over the finish line together versus like who did what or who didn't do what. And that's something that I've had to kind of learn to adjust to, going from kind of like corporate where like you're on bigger project teams to like now where it's a little bit, smaller as an entrepreneur. And usually as an entrepreneur, agents are entrepreneurs, right? We run our own businesses. The buck stops at you and you are the team. So that's probably what I learned the most.
Well, of course, in any team, you always have room for improvement. So that's where that is. But I look at it a little bit differently. I think the lesson learned for me, working especially on the listing side, is to make sure that we continue to prepare the home properly. Mm-hmm. Buyers are much more choosier than ever, meaning that they want a home that's ready to move in and not just have to fix everything. And then the fact that the interest rate's a little higher than normal, per se, that, we're so used to at one point, 2%, 3%, 4%, and 5%, they tend to be choosier when it comes to the home. So one is to make sure that we continue to prepare the home properly, and then two is to make sure that we price it correctly. And then I think it's really important to note that, not every agent goes to the real estate meeting once a week, which you and I do. And I love going to the real estate meeting once a week because I get to talk to other agents about their open houses, their experience, what are they seeing in the market. And I also get to hear about what their listings coming soon. What are they looking for? Maybe I already have something that I could close a deal with them. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting the right price, for the seller. If they say, hey, this is my expectation, and if I found the right buyer, then it's perfect. Let's do that and get those deals done, right? But making sure it's priced correctly and not overpriced,
Yeah.
because to me, I'm the agent that try to say, hey, listen, if the home is worth 1.5, for example, you might want to list at 1.49 to get more people in it.
Sure.
Especially when interest rates high, people are like kind of hesitant about, should I buy now, should I not? Because not everybody comes out, But I think that the more people to look at your home, the better. And that's why we do so well on the marketing side, is that real estate is about exposure of a home to the market. That's why Facebook and Instagram ads, LinkedIn, or Facebook pages that we have that we share, we talk about this, that's going to be very, very helpful. But the other thing that I want to mention that is a continued trend is when to sell your home. Statistically, they've actually followed 1.1 million homes through the top markets in the United States of America. And they follow for 2 years. And on average, if you sell your home during the winter time, meaning that the January, basically, February and March, you always get about 1.2% higher than any other time of the year. So my best bet, my recommendations are always for sellers, if you're thinking about selling your home, is between the second week of January all the way to the second week of, maybe the third week of March at the latest. And the reason why I mentioned March and second and third week of March is the latest, because if you start putting your home in April and May and June, people start putting their homes onto the market, so the market's going to have a lot more inventory. When the buyers have a lot more to choose from, they're just not willing to pay as much. And plus, if you put your home on the market in June and July, a lot of times people go on vacation because school is over. They just can't wait to get the heck out of here. So they go away, so it's not as many people, not as many eyeballs looking at your home as possible.
The buyer pool is a lot smaller.
Absolutely.
That's always definitely a question on the minds of a lot of people who are considering to sell. And, things happen in life. I think a lot of life changes is pretty much what moves the real estate market. You've got diapers, diplomas, divorce, death.
Yep.
Those all happen. They can be times of, great celebration or times of great sadness, but those are things that drive the real estate market. Well, as we're kind of talking about that, I thought this was a great kind of tie-in into kind of looking forward now for 2025. And I know that a lot of people have becoming a homeowner as a goal for 2025. So, what I and Mony want to give all of you today is the best gift you could give yourself is preparation.
That's right.
So, Mony, maybe you could share, since you bought your home in your 20s. Can you maybe share some steps that buyers can take now to get ready for 2025?
There's a few that we've written down here to share with you. One is the first thing is actually reviewing your credit and finances, right? Because literally, when you are thinking about selling home, you got to know what your maximum price is, and you got to know what your budget is. You got to know your credit score. You got to know what you can afford. And by the way, credit score plays a huge role in the interest rate you get, because if you're 760 or higher, or 750 or higher, which is the top tier of excellent credit, your interest rate usually is a little lower than someone that's at 650 or 700. So you want to make sure that you look at your credit score. And if your credit score is not that good, take a look at what's outstanding bills or debt that you haven't paid, or you may neglected, or you may have forgotten. Yep. So you might want to work with the credit repair people and do a wraparound, to pay off some of those debt, negotiate it out. If you have to, pay the total thing and negotiate, and then do a credit wraparound. So hopefully you'll be able to get higher credit scores to get a better rates for your home. Now you go, well, why does that matter? Because say the difference between a 6.5 and a 7.5, that's like $400, $500, $600 per month extra, right? Times 30 years, that's a lot of money. So That's why it matters so much, is making sure that you pay your debt on time, and then not to have too many credit scores, not have too many credit.
You mean credit debt?
Credit debt or credit inquiries.
Yep.
So when people look at your credit, so those type of things. But anyhow, if you have any questions regarding that, just hit me up, and then I'll share some more tips with you.
Quickly, while we're on that topic, the reason why it's important to review your credit and anything that you still owe is because that gets counted towards your debt to income ratio, which makes or break your ability to even get the loan.
That's right.
So just to add to what Mony mentioned, he's absolutely right. And I just want to add the extra thing on top of it, just to say, if you can, pay off any junk debt, anything, car loans, because the more monthly liabilities that you have, the less of a home that you could buy because of that monthly debt to income ratio.
Yeah, believe it or not, a car loan, for example, it really messes up your debt to income ratio big time. So especially if you have a high payment per month. So that's something to really think about. And if you can pay it off, of course, that helps you tremendously with your debt income ratio to be able to afford to buy a home at a higher price as well. The other one is saving for down payment. The greatest barrier to buying a home is the down payment, of course, and then also the closing costs, right? So you got to think about, and by the way, you don't have to wait until you have 5% or 10%, 15 or 20% to buy a home. You could buy a home as 3.5%. And if you're a VA buyer, for example, you don't have to have any down payment at all. It's 100% finance, right? So, but it's important to have the down payment, because for every percent that you put down, unless it's a special loan for first-time home buyers or not, a lot of times if you put less than 20% down, you have to pay the PMI, which is the primary mortgage insurance, because you're a higher risk borrower, and then therefore you pay a little bit extra because you didn't put 20% down. Those that put 20% down, they have, of course, it's hard for someone to walk away with 20%, after they put 20% down, versus someone who may have put 3% or 3.5% or 5% down. So that's the reason why you pay the primary mortgage insurance. A couple of things that you want to think about is getting yourself pre-approved. Now, when it comes to pre-approval, there's 3 different types of pre-approval. One is the pre-qual, the other one is a pre-approval, and the third one is, I highly recommend, is the desktop underwriting, which is you're fully approved by the underwriting team. So, and the reason why it makes a difference is because if I'm the listing agent, I look at an offer. If one person who's pre-approved, they could close in 30 days, and all the price and terms are the same, and someone else is a DU approved, a desktop underwriting approved, and they could close 18 days, the seller will always take the 18 days, because the faster the closing, the better it is, because the seller just want their money. And the longer the escrow, the likelihood it could fall out. So those are the reason why you should be DU approved versus just pre-qual or pre-approved.
Can I also add to that? Just in my experience doing loans since 2004, DU approval means that you have a hard credit inquiry pulled from the lender. They have your 3 credit scores. It's called a tri-merge credit report. That is a hard inquiry. That's important. And then also you have furnished all of your income documents and asset statements to your lender, meaning that they know exactly where your money is, all the money's been sourced.
One of another things that you can do to prepare yourself is to get yourself pre-approved. Now, for a loan, that is. There's 3 ways to get pre-approved. One is called pre-qualification, pre-approval process, and then the desktop underwriting process. So meaning that when you go talk to a lender and get yourself, trying to get yourself a loan, my recommendations have always been not to get the pre-qualification, because you just submit a little bit of information online, or to get pre-approved where you haven't really completed everything, like submitting your bank statement, your W-2 forms, and completing the loan application on that. But rather, I want you to complete the loan application, turn in your bank statement, turn in your W-2s, turn in all's required of a lender, and then get yourself DU approved, desktop underwriting approval. Why is that important? Because when you are submitting an offer, someone who's desktop underwriting approved versus the pre-approval, it could be a difference of 8, 9, 10 days process, meaning that the seller will always, if the price and terms are the same, seller will always pick an offer that could close really, really fast, 18 to 21 days.
It's basically a stronger buyer.
Absolutely, because they're well qualified, they're ready to go. So they don't have to go through the underwriting written process again with an underwriter, where they could just go and then close the deal.
Well, they will, but that's after contract. That will follow another underwriting process, but it makes things easier.
Yeah, and the last step, of course, pre-approval are preparing ahead of time is researching the neighborhoods and the market conditions. You got to know, hey, is it time to get in? A lot of time people try to time it. It's really not about timing when to get in the market, but rather when are you financially ready and when are you going to buy a home? Because if you stay in a home for 2-3 years and then you're trying to time it, it's not going to be perfect. You're always going to mess it up. But just buy when you're ready, as long as you can afford the monthly payments. Long terms, 5 to 7 years or longer. And by the way, on average right now, people are staying in their home 12 to 13 years before they relocate or sell or buy and move. So as long as you stay in a home for a very, very long time, it doesn't really matter so much as long as you can get in a house, because there's so many benefits of having a home, from the tax write-off to the stability of a household, to just so many things that you can do, creating memories for your family. There's just so many amazing things to have the reason to have a home.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you so much for that. So buyers in 2025, hopefully Mony's tips will help you get ready to become a homeowner and reach your American dream. So now as we transition to the other side, preparing sellers for 2025, it's never too early to wrap up your plans to sell. So maybe Mony, since your business focuses a lot more on the listing side, can you share any quick tips for sellers to prepare to sell in 2025?
Yeah, the first thing is actually pick a time to put the home onto the market. Like I said, January, February, March. By the third week of March is the latest you wanna be in, because those are the busiest time. You get the top dollar when you sell between January, February, and March. So pick a timeline. And then if you're gonna pick, so for example, the end of March, okay, you're gonna need at least 3 to 4 weeks to prepare your home for sale. So you need to gonna get the house prepared, meaning painting, renovation, getting all the inspections lined up, home, pest, roof, and chimney. And the reason why you want to do those things ahead of time is because if a buyer comes in and all the inspections, all the repairs already been done, they're going to submit an offer to you with no contingencies in place. Versus where there's contingencies in place, they could back out the contract during the due diligence period, the timeline. So the best thing to do is obviously, talk to an agent early. Do a walkthrough, figure out what are you going to do, what can't you do. And for example, Compass, is a company that we work for. If you want to renovate your home, you don't have the money, Compass can loan to you as a seller up to $50,000 for $750 flat fee, which no one else can touch or be able to match that. That's pretty incredible. And by the way, when you invest into your home, you're always going to get more. For us, on our team, for example, we try to get you, for every dollar you spent, we try to get you 3 to 4 to 5 back. That's our goal. The minimum is 3. Doesn't always happen, but that's our goal, is usually 3 to 4 to 5 back. And then oftentimes we get a minimum of $3 back for every dollar you spent.
I was also going to mention, since you touched on Compass programs, not only that Compass Concierge program, but at Compass we have the Private Exclusives program, which I think is a game changer, because that allows sellers to test the market before officially putting their house on the market. And you can only do that with Compass agents. But I think that's a great value add.
Let me explain that a little bit differently too. Compass Exclusive mean that we put your listing based on the price you want. For example, if the market is valued at $2.3 million and you say, Mony, I want 2.5, we'll put that into the Compass Exclusive and let the Compass agent look at it and possibly come.
It's testing the market without
before it hits the market.
Yeah. So as I was saying, it's testing the market without officially having your house on the market.
Correct.
And the great thing is that there's an opportunity for you to sell it off market to another Compass agent.
Right.
So anyway, more to come on that. But
or not as many agents come to see the home. And the other thing that we might want to do in a case like that is we we might want to put their home, if the seller's open to it, to put on a top agent network as well. Say, hey, here's the listing that we have. The seller's looking for this, and broadcast to the top 10% of agents in Alameda County. That's part of the top agent network application app software that our membership that we're a part of.
So yeah, I mean, I think those are some basic steps. Obviously, there's not a science to it, but there is a formula for success.
Absolutely. Preparation is everything.
Yeah.
Like preparation, and then for us, as a team and someone who's been doing it in the business for 18 years, is that we have all the vetted vendors that we work with. We save you time and money because we know that our folks don't overcharge you, and they do great work. They will do great work for you to make sure your home looks beautiful and ready for market.
Absolutely. All right. So as we are looking at 2025, hopefully any of our sellers, as you're considering selling, of course, Mony and I are always available if you just want to have a chat. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. No obligation. But if you just want to have a chat, I'm pretty sure you're open to that. But as we prepare for 2025, do you have any insights or predictions for 2025 based on the current trends? As you always follow the interest rates, any buyer demographics that you see, inventory, competition expectations, anything like that you'd like to share?
From the information I gather from the economic advisors and economists and different industry, is that the market's going to remain strong. The job market's going to remain strong. So but the interest rate is not going to come down as the 4% or 3%. That's not going to happen.
Those days are gone.
I think that there is an opportunity between possibly 5.75 to 6.75, or between 5 and 6.25. So it may come down a little bit, but it's not going to come down as much. So if you're thinking about buying, again, it's about are you financially ready to get into a home? Because it's about stability. It's about the tax write-off when it comes time to buying a home. But it's also about when you're selling, it's about also moving up to the next phase of life, whether it's downsizing, upsizing, or because of graduation, or because bigger the family grew, or the family got smaller, whatever the case is. It's those are the considerations you got to take into.
Yeah, I mean, I just listened to Brian Buffini's bold predictions for 2025, and he actually interviewed Dr. Lawrence Yun, the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, and he was basically saying that with the new administration coming in, that there might be a slight dip in the interest rates, but we have to remind everybody that the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is not tied to the Fed. It is actually, whether the Fed drops the rates or not, it's not going to heavily impact the 30-year mortgage rate, because I believe that's tied to the 10-year treasury.
That's right.
So I remembered a little econ from my MBA class. Hopefully that was helpful. But what I'm also starting to see is just a different generation. And so right now, the people with the most wealth right now to purchase are the baby boomer generation, like 62 and up, right? Basically, they're kind of making up most of the market of buyers because they have invested in real estate early. They're in retirement or looking to retire, and so they've got assets saved up, and so they're actually pretty strong in terms of like their buying power. And then millennials and Gen Z, as they're entering the market, they're finding certain challenges, obviously with the change in industries and the job force and whatnot. And
But it's predicted. But it's predicted
Yeah.
the millennials are probably going to be the biggest buyers pool this coming
Sure,
year.
they will be. So to that point, I learned so much from Brian Buffini's bold predictions, and so for me, I'm a huge Brian Buffini fan. I listen to his podcast, and he's just brilliant. But to that point, I think as Mony mentioned, inventory and competition, especially, obviously, new builds are still happening and whatnot. So I don't know. I feel like it really is individual. I feel like, that whole experience. And I just, again, want to remind everybody that Mony and I are a resource for all of you. Whether you're just wondering where can I go get the latest market data? Data doesn't have to be scary. Data is actually very empowering. If you could learn to read data and interpret it and understand it and what it means, it's actually not that scary.
Or just have any questions about the buying, selling process at all, whether it's on appraisal, or I had a situation where a family want to sell their home to another family, and they want to give them a big down payment to buy another home. So we were able to do buyer's options with them. So there's whatever the situation is. If you have any questions or you just don't know what to do, or you're looking at Proposition 19 or 1031 exchange on a rental property for another rental property, like property for another like property, you just have questions about investments and is this a good thing to do? Can you help run numbers? Whatever your questions are in real estate, let us know. Reach out to us, and we'll provide you the resources. We don't know the answer.
Great. So I think as we touch on the holiday season, and obviously the holiday season is about also giving back. So maybe Mony can share this holiday season, what was your most memorable part about giving back?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. Well, first of all, Sophie and I are very, very grateful for your love and your support, especially on the business side and on a personal side too. So on a personal and professional side. But we're so thankful that we get to do so many things in this community here because of your support. For example, we sponsor Teachers Luncheon, we sponsor teams, we help schools, we help the nonprofits. So we've been part of some major events here in the community because of your support. Were allowed us to do financially to help with the nonprofit grow into something bigger than they plan. So we just been very, very blessed, from serving in a local level, serving on an international level. One of the things I'm looking forward to is actually the Rotary Global Grant for possibly building a tech innovation hub in Cambodia. So I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I'm hoping to get all the partnerships lined up and then start the global grant application process to go with it. So there's so many things, but the bottom line is that we are so grateful for your love and for your support personally and professionally. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, yeah, great. Well, I just, again, want to also thank everybody as well. I mean, just for being there personally and professionally as well, and that you consider Mony and I for your real estate needs, and even just to be here and be a resource. And it's not always about real estate. It's not always about the business. But we are just really, truly honored and privileged that we get to be a part of your lives. But I think for myself, I think this holiday season, I think giving back in terms of, we wrapped up our turkey drop. That was one of our episodes. And so just for our followers who did listen to the Mony and Op turkey drop, it was our 9th year. And then what was the whopping number that we collected? We
collected several $1,000s in gift cards and cash, and we collected 141 turkeys in 3 hours, which is...
That's amazing.
That goes to help over 800, 900 families, underserved family here in the community. So we're honored that you support us on that as well.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I think with that said, everyone, again, we are always so grateful for you tuning in, spending your time, lending us an ear, and really just allowing us to just share our thoughts with you through this podcast. And we hope that in 2025, we continue to bring you content that is valuable, heartwarming, encouraging, and insightful perhaps. And we hope that through these conversations that Mony and I teach you something a little new, something new maybe that you didn't always know. But I think what I'd like to do is just say happy holidays to everyone, and truly take this time to pause and just look at all the amazing things that you have going in your life and be grateful, and really look towards 2025 with hope and optimism. Regardless of what is happening in your life, just know that things are always going to be better, and that you are blessed. So thank you, and happy holidays, everyone.
Perfectly said. Thank you so much, and happy holidays, and cheers to all the grateful things in our lives.
Great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to another episode of Love, Listings, and Legacy with
Mony
and Sophaline Mao. Don't forget to give us a like on our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining Love, Listings, and Legacy this week. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Join us next time as we continue to navigate the path from adversity to success, one property and one purpose-driven decision at a time. Thanks for listening.